If you're tired of using tampons or pads that claim they're chemical-free like most store-bought brands, but actually aren't, then you've come to the right place. Freya is a tampon and pad subscription service that gets delivered to your doorstep each month, and it allows customers to pick a delivery schedule that works best for them and their needs. Along with the convenience and the affordability factor, Freya is completely free from harmful ingredients like most big store-bought brands. Included but not limited to dioxin and chlorine, which are two of the most harmful ingredients that big store-bought brands actually put in their tampons. Even though sometimes you may be thinking you're getting a tampon with no harmful ingredients, that actually isn't the case. Freya completely eliminates that. They are also specifically designed for the woman body. That means no discomfort and no leaks. You guys know that I'm all about natural products. I'm very careful about not only what I put on my body, but into my body. And that is Freya's biggest mission, is to deliver you safe, effective, high-quality products with no harmful ingredients, and also to make it more convenient for you. I mean, who actually wants to go in the middle of the night to the store to get pads because they forgot to buy them that month? Freya takes care of that the minute you sign up for the subscription service. They have a great selection of absorbencies and also the choice between pads or tampons. Or both if you like versatility. When I started using Freya, I realized that I really had no leaks or discomfort at all within my pads and tampons. I noticed that I could go longer periods of time without changing them. So if you'd like to commit to getting the highest quality products each and every month that never contain harmful ingredients, is right on your doorstep, save you time, save you money, and save you peace of mind, then go ahead and check out Freya. I will leave the link in my description box, as well as my discount code on the screen and in my description box to get some percentage off your order. So Freya, thank you so much for allowing me to try your products for my subscribers. I really hope you guys love them as much as I do. I really feel like this is a great step for your no chemical and natural journey, and I think that you guys will really love them. So go ahead and click the link in my bio, as well as using my discount code for a percentage off, and try it yourself. Damien is walking crisscross side to side in the middle of the road in front of my house, off his face intoxicated. Like, I know for a fact that you were at your boyfriend's house because I found his house. I drove around, I found it, I saw your car there, and I went to the back in the driveway and I parked and I was waiting for you guys to come outside. Who does that?
I wanna all night. Say it. I wanna all night. Hello, stranger. It's been a minute since we last kicked it. By the way, just got it.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. If you are new, what's up girl? My name is Dakota. I post a ton of content on this channel, included but not limited to story times, true crime, advice, and lifestyle content. So that's something that sparks your interest. Don't forget to give this video a huge like. It really helps me out on the algorithm, lets me know what kind of content you guys want me to create. While you're at it, hit that subscribe button and turn on your post notifications by hitting the bell kind of in the corner. That way you would never miss out on a video that I post here on YouTube. Today's video is going to be such an exciting video because it's going to be a continuation on one of my past story times. I've been dying to tell you guys this story forever, and I actually got permission from the person to tell it. This is going to piggyback off of my story of when my ex kidnapped me. YouTube stopped putting, it said I wasn't suitable for ads. Why, I don't know. So I actually changed the name to my crazy ex. And it's funny because me and this person actually talked recently because he saw the video and he reached out and he was like, I knew I was next. I don't know what it was, but I just knew it. And he and I laughed about it for literally hours. So we're actually on pretty good terms now. By no means does that mean ever in a million, trillion, bajillion years that we would get back together. No, that's not what I'm saying. But like, it's just cool to be like friendly, you know what I'm saying? So we just like talked and like laughed about it for hours, and he was like, dude, I was crazy, like I don't know what it was when I was with you, but I was freaking nuts. So he actually gave me permission to like make more content. So that's what we are going to do today. Today's video is literally going to be about the time my crazy ex pulled up to my new man's house in the driveway and waited for us to come outside. A bunch of other stuff. It's absolutely crazy. So if that sparks your interest and you'd like to find out more details about what happened, about how for sometimes he kind of stalked me as well, it was crazy. All you have to do is keep on watching because we're gonna get started. Before we get started though, get your wine, get your snacks, get your drinks, get a notepad on what not to do. And let's get on into it. If you are new here, I highly suggest that you watch the video My Crazy Ex first before hopping onto this one, because nothing is really going to make sense. You're not really going to have a background of it. So initially where we left off was when me and him had broken up. We had gone to the movies. He had said, you know, that comment that I didn't like. He tried to block my car in from leaving his house. He followed me halfway home, was like running through red lights. It was really, really crazy. So after that, we broke up. That was October, because I remember it was when that new Michael Myers Halloween movie had come out. That was the movie that we were seeing. I want to say at the end of October, me and some of my friends had gone to this like Oktoberfest thing in my mother's town. So we went there and we were just walking around, you know, getting food, seeing all the vendors, things like that. And then out of nowhere, my friend calls me and he's like, hey, are you in, we're going to call this town Stonebridge. So he's like, are you in Stonebridge? Because me and my friends are here and we want to meet up with you. And I was like, oh my God, yeah, come meet up with us. Everybody I was with, he knew, because he was actually friends with too. So he ended up coming and he had like these 3 guys with him, and we all ended up congregating, introducing each other, talking, etc. I want to say that we were at the Oktoberfest for maybe an hour, and then they were like, hey, why don't we go shoot pool somewhere, have a few beers, just, you know, keep the night going. So that's exactly what we did. We went to a small bar right on the corner of the street that we were at, went downstairs. They had a little pool table, a little bar. There was not a lot of people there, and we just had some fun. We shot some pool and things like that, but there was this one guy there, and we're just gonna call him Miles. That's not a name that I've used yet. I'm running out of names, guys. I was about to say Paco. So he was my friend's friend that, you know, he brought with him to come meet up with this Oktoberfest. And Miles was cool. Like, he was kind of into the same things that I was spiritually. Like, he was just like a really cool guy. Like, nothing bad to say about him still to this day. He was really cool. So basically, a few days after that, he had ended up adding me on Instagram. So he added me on Instagram, and we kind of started talking here and there about like a show or something. I don't remember what exact show it was, but that was basically what sparked our conversation. And then from then on, every now and then, we would just message on Instagram. We didn't have each other's numbers or anything like that. Some time passes forward. I'm still not talking to Damien. That's what I named him in my last video. That one I remember. And throughout all this time, Damien's calling me. He's texting me. He's leaving me voicemails. By this point, I had him blocked, but he would download an app to make a fake number in order to get in contact with me, or he would just call me on no caller ID. Like, every time I got a no caller ID phone call, I just automatically knew it was Damien. It got to the point where like Damien was coming to my house and he was sitting outside for hours, calling me, asking me to come outside, leaving me voicemails, just sitting outside of my house waiting for me to come out. He would have his coworkers from his job text me and be like, please go outside and see. And these were coworkers I'd never met a day in my life, didn't even know what their names were. And they would just be like, please go see Damien. He's outside. He's texting me, telling me to text you. It was just a lot, okay? It was a lot of pressure. To wait outside until I would come outside and speak to him, or until like hours had passed and then he would just go home because it would be cold outside. You can only run the heat in the car for so long. You're wasting gas and things like that. Sometimes I would come out and talk to him and just be like, it's done. Like, it's done. We are toxic together. We don't work together. We both need to move on. So this continued for like a long time. And then me and Miles were talking a lot more. So the more that me and Miles were talking, the less that I was even thinking about Damien, to be completely honest. So me and Miles ended up actually setting up a day that we were going to hang out. We went on a nice little date. We went to dinner, we went to the movies, and it was really cute. And I actually really was like, oh, like, this is a really nice guy. I wasn't used to being with a nice guy. And he was just very gentlemanlike, very courteous, and I really liked him. He was cool. He didn't try to like kiss me or hold my hand or anything, which I thought was very, very like gentlemanlike, and I appreciated that because most guys aren't like that. So I ended up leaving the date, and I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna give this a go. I think I'm gonna give it a chance. He seems like a nice guy. Maybe this is like a change of what I need. Maybe this is the person that I should be dating. So I decided that I was going to start pursuing Miles, and that I was going to just completely cut Damien off, and eventually he would just fizzle and dissolve out of my life. So the fuck I thought, no. And then me and Miles are like getting to know each other. You know, I'm going over his house, we're hanging out, we're going out on dates and stuff. We're not official just yet, but we're just like getting to know each other, going on hikes, cute little shit like that, you know? And basically what ended up happening was somehow Damien found out I was talking to somebody else. I did not post Miles. I did not post about Miles. I didn't post about how I was like happy or like dating. I was so private. So like I literally did not post him at all. None of my friends did. None of my friends even knew I was dating somebody. I was keeping it super DL. I was trying to keep something to like to myself for once. And somehow he knew. Like, literally, he knew. I don't understand, but he did. So when he found out I was talking, and this was not even confirmed by me, he'd be like, oh, are you talking to someone? And, like, I said no, because it's not his business. And he was like, yeah, whatever. Like, I know you're lying, blah, blah, blah. So what happened is that he started becoming a little bit more, like, pushy. Like, he would call me even more. He would text me even more, would leave me even more voicemails. Some time passed, passes, scroll forward, and me and Miles end up becoming official. And when this happened, it set Damien off 10 times more. I really think that when like a guy sees that their past person is moving on, I think it becomes like a chaser and runner type dynamic where the girl is becoming unattainable because she's with somebody else and you no longer have access for her, and it makes them go crazy. I don't think it's even much so a thing where it's like they're in love with you. I think it's just more so like, I just want to get her back because she's unattainable and she's out of my reach. It's like a haha, I won type situation. So I just set him off and made him go crazy. So one day he called me, and I remember I was on my way to my new boyfriend's house, Miles, and he called me and he's like, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, nothing, just driving. And he's like, you're on your way to your boyfriend's house, aren't you? You're on your way to your boyfriend's house. What the fuck? And I'm like, no, I'm actually not. Like, I'm just running some errands. And he was like, yeah, okay, whatever, sure, Dakota, sure. So he just is basically telling me, like, I need to break up with him, I need to be with him, like, there's no way I can move on that fast, like, he knows I still love him, and that I don't even have feelings for this guy, he's just as a rebound, just saying all these, like, crazy things, right? Just running out the mouth, saying things that a typical guy normally would. And I was just like, nope, like, I'm moving on, like, I found someone who actually, treats me with respect and cares about me and my well-being, and, like, I'm all set, basically, like, you need to move on. So I ended up staying with, because, okay, where my new boyfriend lived was the same town as one of my family members. So I remember I was going to their house first to grab something from their house, and then I was going to leave there and I was going to go to Miles's house. It was maybe like a 3-minute drive, not even, 2-3-minute drive. So I went and I was driving, and for some reason I stayed on the phone with him. I don't really know why. And I end up getting to my family member's house, and I go inside and he can hear that I'm kind of like jiggling keys. So he's like, where are you? And I was like, I should have just said I was home. But the thing is that he was so like nuts, like crazy, that I knew for a fact that he would some days like drive past my house, and God forbid he drove past it, I wasn't there, then he'd be like, you lied, where are you? Even though we weren't together, it was just, he was crazy, okay? He was crazy. No hate to him now. Now he's a good guy, he has changed, we're cool, there's no beef. It's just a funny story, so. And he gave me permission, so don't be mad at me. He was just crazy. So basically I was like, oh, I'm at insert family member's name here. And he's like, oh, so your new boyfriend lives near there? And I'm like, no. And he's like, Dakota, I know you're on your way to his house. And I'm like, no, I'm not, Damien. Like, you're crazy. He's like, so you're telling me you drove all the way to your family member's house to pick something up to go all the way back home, 35 minutes? He's like, yeah, right. I'm not dumb. I know that you're going to see your new boyfriend. Like, he just knew. He had like a sixth sense when it came to where I was and what I was doing at all times. I wonder if there was a tracker. No, there's no way. I was like, okay, well, I just want to let you know that, like, I'm going to find out where he lives. Like, I'm really going to find out where he lives. And I'm just, I don't know. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do after that, but I am going to find out where he lives. And I'm like, yeah, sure, you're crazy, blah, blah, blah. I end up going to my new boyfriend's house, Miles, and I'm on the phone with Damien. I'm like, listen, Damien, like, we're done. This is it. We both need to move on. I wish you the best. Click. Hang up. That's that. And I still had him blocked. It was a blocked number. So I park my car. I go up to Miles's house. I want to say I'm maybe there for 3 hours, right? Because he had to go to work. So I'm there for 3 hours, and I come outside and I go to my car and I pull off and I get a call from Damien, and he's like, oh, how was your boyfriend's house? And I'm like, I didn't go to my boyfriend's house. I already told you that. And he's like, I know for a fact that you were at your boyfriend's house because I found his house. I drove around, I found it, I saw your car there, and I went to the back in the driveway and I parked, and I was waiting for you guys to come outside. Who does that? And at first, I really did not believe him. I was like, yeah, right. There's no way that you did that. You're just trying to get me to admit that I was there. You're trying to get me to try to tell you like what his location was, where he lives, so you can find out and be a weirdo. And he was like, Dakota, he described the house perfectly. He was like, okay, so this is not what the house looked like, obviously privacy purposes, but say this is what it was. It was a house that was blue and had a white trim, and you go all the way to the back and there's gravel, and there's either a place to park on the right that's like a driveway, you know, like type material, or there's like a gravel material, and his car is this color and yours was right next to it, and then next to yours was like a blue car, and my jaw was to the fucking floor because he described it to a T. He described Miles's house perfectly, and I was like, this motherfucker. He really, later on I ended up talking to him about it. He told me how he found it. He drove to my family member's house because he knew where it was. He had picked me up from there multiple times. He drove to my family member's house, and from there drove around every neighborhood that was in that vicinity until he saw my car. And let me remind you, it was like a 3-minute drive from my family member's house, meaning that it wasn't like right near my family member's house. Like you had to go down the hill, you had to take a right, take a left, stop at the light, go through this, and then get there. Like it wasn't like, and the driveway was hidden. So like there was the house, you had to go all the way to the back down this long driveway, take a left, curve a little bit, and then there was the like lot where you could park your car. It's not like the driveway was next to the house and he was just driving through neighborhoods and saw it. Even then, that would be crazy. But like he meticulously planned this shit out, took time out of his day to find my car at my new boyfriend's house. Who does that? Where they do that at? Where do they do that at? Please tell me. If you could tell me, you would get a cookie. I don't understand it. I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand. Eventually, I ended up calling him crazy and told him to please leave me alone and hung up the phone. The same pattern continued. He would call, he'd leave me voicemails, tell me to break up with him, telling me that he's not even my type. Why am I with him? I need to be with him. Yada, 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 X, Y, Z. Then one day I get home from work and I see that on my porch there is a bouquet of 12 roses, 12 red stemmed roses, and they were beautiful. And next to it was a card. So I basically pick up the roses. I pretty much knew already that they were from Damien. And I walk inside and I put it down and I open it, and it's like a card with like a lengthy like letter, and it's basically just saying that like he knows he messed up and he wishes that he realizes what he had when he had it, and like I've changed his life so much and he's going to miss me, and that, you know, like he'll always regret basically messing up chances with me. And I'm not gonna lie, it tugged on my heartstrings. I called my mom and cried my eyes out and was like, am I making the wrong decision? I don't know. Like he's like, he left me roses. No guy's ever done that for me before. Which, by the way, ladies, a man getting you flowers is the bare minimum. Yes, it's amazing and it feels great and it's beautiful, but like he should be getting you flowers regardless. Not when he messes up. Just on a casual Sunday when he's at the grocery store, I was like, wow, I think that, you know, my girlfriend or my wife, whatever, would like these. Like, he should get flowers just because, not when he fucks up. Not when he messes up. He should get you flowers because you're a beautiful goddess, period. So please remember that. The thing was that deep down I knew I still really liked Damien, but I knew that also we weren't good for each other, and I was trying my best just to move on because I knew that. And then, you know, this new guy gets presented to me and I want to take a chance on him. But the thing is that when you're in a relationship and you still have feelings for your ex, or you still even like think about them in that way, or like wonder sometimes if you made the wrong choice, you should not be in a relationship with a new person, because that's not fair, not only to yourself, but to them. You should never be with somebody when you have feelings for somebody else. And that's where I messed up, and I really wish that I could go back and change that, because that wasn't fair for me to put that on my new boyfriend. It wasn't fair for me to sit in that situation where I had feelings for my ex and I got into a new relationship. I should have taken the time right then and there to heal. And after this relationship, I literally promised myself I would never do it again. And now I'm in a state where I don't move on to somebody new until I'm completely over the past person I talked to. And this was a long time ago, by the way. It wasn't like last year or anything like that. So now I make sure, because of that, I learned, like, don't move on to the next person until you're completely moved past your last situation, because it just gets messy, the ego gets in the way, and it just isn't fair. So that's like my one regret from the story for sure, because I do still feel bad about it to this day. But me and that guy would have never worked out. So me and my friends decided to go out and get a few drinks and hang out, whatever, and I ended up going to Miles's house afterwards, and we were just hanging out. Everything was fine, and I ended up leaving. So as I'm leaving, I end up leaving Miles's house, and something happened to me there, and I'm not going to say what it was. He didn't do anything to me, just something ended up happening, and I'm not going to talk about it because it's going to be a different story time for another time. Also, I think if I talk about it in the context I want to, it might not be approved for YouTube, but basically, I ended up eating something, and it gave me a bad reaction. Just use your brain, okay? So I left there, and I think because Damien was such like a constant to me, like he was like somewhere that I felt like familiar in a way, that I felt safe and comforted by him. So I texted him so I could talk to him about it. It wasn't to see him or anything like that. It was literally just to talk to him about it. And I don't know, just I guess feel some type of comfort, but again, that's wrong because I'm in a relation. Like, what are you doing, Dakota? But I swear to God, I never had the intentions of meeting up with him, nothing like that. So I texted him. I should have known better because it was Saturday night. It was like 11 o'clock, almost midnight, because, you know, I went to Miles's house, I hung out with him for a few hours, and I was on my way home. And I should have known better because Damien was like infamous for like going out on the weekends, and I should have known that he probably would have been intoxicated and things like that. So I ended up texting him, and I want to say that maybe I'm like a minute away from my house. So I'm driving, I get to my street, I turn on the corner, and I get a phone call, and I'm like, hello? And he's like, where are you? I'm in front of your house. And I'm like, yeah, okay, sure. And I drive up my street. Lo and behold, Damien is walking crisscross side to side in the middle of the road in front of my house, off his face intoxicated, like off his face. He had one too many Long Islands. Like, he was just not suitable for being in the public at all. And I'm just like, what are you doing? What are you actually doing? And he's alone. He has no coat on. It's the dead of winter, okay? Like, dead of winter. What are you doing? And he's by himself, and I'm thinking, did he drive here like that? But then I park and I look around and there's no car. I'm like, what is going on? So I get out and I'm like, actually no. I was like, get in my car. I'm gonna turn the heat on. You're probably freezing. How long have you been here? How did you get here? Why are you here? And he comes in and he's like, I had my brother drop me off. And I'm like, well, where's your brother? And he's like, oh, he went back, he's driving back home. I'm like, first of all, how'd you even know that if I was gonna be home? What if I was sleeping out? What if I wasn't going to be here? What if I was out with my friends? Like, what if I was at my boyfriend's house? Like, you didn't even know if I was going to be here. Why would you ask? I guess they were in the town next to me. There's like a ton of bars there. So they were over there. And I guess on the way, you know, back, he was like, oh, can you please pass by Dakota's house and drop me off? And even his brother was like, dude, no, like, that's weird. Like, you guys aren't even together anymore. How do you, his logical thinking is the same thing as me. How do you know she's going to be home? Even if she's home, how do you even know she's going to like want to talk to you or let you in? Like, he literally was like, no, just drop me off. I'm telling you, just drop me off. Just drop me off. He literally asked his brother to drop him off on the way home from the bar so he could come see me. And I said, like, how did you even know I was going to be home? How did you even know I was going to want to talk to you? Like, and also, why did you get dropped off? How are you going to get home now? How are you going to get home now? Because I'm not driving you. Like, just literal chaos. And so he just, again, is like trying to talk to me, be like, please break up with him. Let's get back together. I don't want to lose you, yada, yada, yada. He's not the right guy for you. Just like literally just the stuff he always says just in person this time. And I'm trying to just talk to him, be like, we don't work good together. And I'm like, we can be friends, but like we can't hang out because it's disrespectful because of another relationship. And I think that he could like tell in my eyes that like I wasn't like 100% happy in my relationship. The thing is that Miles was a really good guy. He was a nice guy, but he was not the guy for me. Just because a guy is a good guy doesn't mean that he's the right guy for you. And Miles was just not the right guy for me. Like, we were into the same stuff, but like our personalities were completely different. Like, it was like that thing where they say opposites attract, but like we were way too opposite. Like, you gotta have a little more than in common to, yeah. He's just like sitting there begging me, like, please just let me show you, give me 1 to 2 weeks to show you that I'm different, to show you I can be who I need you to be. Like, let's just please work on things. And I basically was like, you know what, like, I'll think about it, because I knew in my heart that I wasn't happy with Miles, and I still had feelings for Damien. And because I need to learn by doing, right, learn for myself, I wanted to explore where my feelings with Damien could go. Even after all of the crazy stuff that happened between us, like I said, go watch my first story time. I should have never in my life given this man another chance. Ever. Ever. But this was the old Dakota talking. I now have grown. I've learned. I've changed. By the way, guys, please stop with the comments of being like, girl, you're crazy. Why'd you do that? If that was me. Everyone likes to say that, right? If that was me, I would never. You attract toxic men. You need to stop. This is not should've, could've, would've story time. I'll repeat, this is not should've, could've, would've story time. This is a story that happened in my present life. I'm now a 27-year-old grown-ass woman. I have changed. I am different in my relationships now. When I notice red flags, I actually take action, okay? And I know you guys are gonna be like, oh, well, your last story time, you just said how you were with this guy and he broke up with you. Yeah, but I noticed it early on. If this was the old Dakota, I would have stayed with my past person for like another year or two, and then I would have left. Like, I'm noticing earlier on, and I'm standing up for myself, and I'm distancing. Like, I'm learning, okay? People learn at a different pace. Just because you, Patricia, grew up in a 2-family home where your parents made 6 figures and you had Christmases with freaking Nintendos under your tree every single year, and your parents got to make it to every single Christmas choir concert, and you got to do all the activities you wanted to in the world because your parents were rich, and your parents actually had a healthy relationship. You didn't bounce around from house to house, and you know, you didn't have like trauma happen to you, Patricia. Doesn't mean that everybody else's life is like that. You probably learned what healthy relationships are. Not everybody has. So we look for in people the toxic traits that our parents portrayed because it's familiar to us. Because psychologically, the chemicals in our body and brain attach our memories to familiar people, to what our parents were like, to what our environment was like, until we do trauma work and learn that's not normal, and then we install our new beliefs. It takes time. I'm 27. I'm young, okay? I'm fucking learning. I'm learning lessons at 27 that people don't learn till they're 45. So please save it. I swear to God, if I get one more comment like that, I'm going to explode. Like, I'm gonna literally explode in my pants. Like, please, just shut up. I'm taking him home. And the next day I wake up and I'm like, I need to end things with Miles. I need to break up with Miles, because not even because I wanted to explore my feelings with Damien, but because it wasn't fair what I was doing. I was in my head having I didn't cheat on him. Let's just start with that, okay? But like in my head, I was still thinking about Damien. I still wanted to talk to Damien. It was so hard for me to ignore his calls and things like that. And just the fact that I even had a crazy ex that was hitting me up like that, like, I should have let that like fizzle out, given it at least like 4 months, and then started talking to somebody new, because that is just like a major turnoff. Like, he never knew about it until I brought it up to him when we ended up ending things. But that is just like, to be with someone who's like ex is always it's just a turn off. And when I was with my new boyfriend, he would do that all the time. It's like he knew when I was with him and he would blow my phone to the point where I'd have to either turn it off or put it on do not disturb. And it's like, can you just let me be? Let me be. So I ended up ending things with Miles, and I was completely honest. I told him, like, listen, you know, it's not you. You're a good guy. I still do have feelings for my ex, and I've been thinking about him recently, and I've been, you know, like, realizing that maybe I just moved on a little too fast, and it's not your fault. It's completely me, and it was selfish, and I should have thought more before going into this relationship, and I take full accountability, and I apologize. I never wanted to hurt you. You're going to be a great guy to somebody else. It's just, unfortunately, that girl isn't me. And I was completely honest, and I told him, and he was upset, obviously. And I felt bad. To this day, I do feel bad about doing that, but like I said, we would have never worked, and you can't force yourself to love someone. And I just knew in my heart that it wasn't there, and it wasn't going to be there. I ended up having a sit down with Damien face to face and saying, I think I want to work on things and explore where this can go, but we are in no means in a relationship right now. I want us to start as friends again, date again, and work our way up, because we went so wrong. Like, for this to be this much of a shit show, we went so wrong somewhere, and we need to just completely start over. And he was like, you know what? Rude. He was just like, I completely agree. I think that's great. Let's completely just start over, and we'll see what happens. So it's actually literally hilarious, because to this day, this is the dumbest thing. I've done a lot of stupid things. This is the dumbest thing I ever did, because I don't know how I thought I was gonna get away with this. So basically, like, maybe like a week goes by, and you know, we're talking again, everything's going good, we're taking it slow. And I just kind of woke up one day, and this was like my guides, God, my ancestors, everything, every fiber in my body being like, girl, we showed you who he was. Why are you going back? And like, I just got this like epiphany, and I was like, no, I need to just be alone right now. Like, I literally need to be alone by myself. Like, I need to just work on me. I don't really want to be with anybody right now. And the thing is too, is like, when you have to decide between two people, I always say, like, choose neither. Literally choose neither, because if you loved one of them like so much, you wouldn't even be thinking about the other. So when I was breaking up with Miles, I should have just completely told Damien just to go somewhere too. But it was the worst time to decide to be done, because me and Damien had a trip planned to New York. Now, by trip, I mean like literally all you do is just park your car at the train station. You take the train for an hour and a half, and then you're in New York. So it's not like we were like flying or anything, but he already like bought tickets for us to go to the wax museum. He already bought our tickets to go on the train. Like, he already bought and spent some good money on this trip, and so it was the worst time for me to have this epiphany. But instead of me articulating that and telling him, like, I don't think we should do this anymore, I just stopped answering him, which is, don't do that to people. That's so toxic. Like, tell them what's going on. But again, you know what, I don't feel bad about it because of everything horrible that he did to me. It was kind of karma, but I just stopped answering him. So he's like blowing up my phone. He's like, I knew you were gonna do this. Every time we have something planned, you always back out, yada yada. So then I start like feeling bad, and I'm like, Dakota, you have to go. Like, he already spent money. So instead of me like being honest and being like, you know what, you're right, I was having doubts, that's why I wasn't answering you, I tell this boy that I got a flat tire on my way to go to his house, and that AAA just came and fixed it, and that I'm sorry, and that I will be there soon. And he knew. I'm such a bad liar, which is why I don't ever lie. So I don't know why this one time I thought that my lie was going to be substantial, but it freaking wasn't. So literally, like, he's like FaceTiming me, and he's like, show me where you're at right now. And I showed him, and it was like right the exit to get on, to go onto the highway. So like I went on first, and then I showed him, I was like, you see, I'm driving, I'm on the highway. He's like, Dakota, you're such a liar. Like, you're right on like where you go to onto the highway. Like, what are you talking about? Like, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I'm gonna be there in like 20 minutes. Just stop. And tell me why. I go to pick him up, and he's like, which tire was it? And I was like, oh, the back one. And he looks at it, and he goes, pop your trunk for me real quick. And I was like, why? And he's like, just pop it. And I popped it, and he opens it and sees like the donut that you would put on if you got a flat tire. So he just starts laughing, and he gets in the car and he's like, I don't care, like we're still going because like I already spent money on this. He's like, and after this we don't have to talk anymore. And I'm just like, so we start arguing, and finally what I did was I pulled over into a parking lot of like a Walmart or something, and I told him, I said, you know what, to be 100% honest, yes, you're right, I was having doubts and that's why I stopped answering you. I didn't want to go anymore. And I basically just laid out all my problems. I was like, I think you're very immature. I think you have a lot of growing to do. I think that you don't think about other people. You're very self-absorbed. Like, you don't ever like give off to me that like you want the things I want. I was like, I want a family, I want marriage, I want like security, I want to get an apartment soon. I was like, you don't give off to me that you want those things. You live your life day by day, which kudos to you. You don't have kids, so you can do that. That's great. Like, that's fine, but like we live two different lives. And basically I just told him like everything I thought and the reasons why I have doubts and the reason why I don't think that we're gonna work. And he was like, you know what, no, like you're right, like I definitely do portray that I am like childish and just carefree, and I portray that I don't have goals and things like that, but like I promise you I do. I want all the things that you want. I want all the things that you're talking about right now. And like he literally, he told me, I never thought about moving out of my mom's house until I met you. Like, that's not a compliment. Like, the thing is that he was very like financially stable. He always had a great job, like very financially stable, but like didn't invest your money in a house or an apartment, you know what I'm saying? He's doing all that now, like trust me, he's doing great, but like he, like at the time, like me leaving him, he even said like it made him grow up. Me leaving him caused him to realize that like he was just very immature and childish, and that he needed to grow up and start like investing his money, saving right, like making goals, like having ambition, like all that stuff. Sorry y'all, I had to take a little break and the lip gloss is not popping. You guys want a bomb lip combo? Get the NYX NYX, whatever, butter gloss in Sugar High, and then get the NYX Suede lip pencil in Cold Brew or New Truffle. We ended up going to New York. We had a great time, went to the wax museum, went out to eat. We just like watched, saw like the Christmas decorations. It was really good. I love going to New York during Christmas. I go every single year. A friend of mine, it was like COVID last year, so me and my friend literally just drove to New York to go walk around outside the whole time and just see the Christmas decorations. We didn't go inside like any buildings, nothing. Like we just wanted to go see the Christmas decorations. Just like, tell me you're a Pisces, don't tell me you're a Pisces, seriously. Christmas comes and goes, and now we're on to New Year's, and we're almost at the end of the story. I know it's been a long one, but just hold on, we're getting to the good parts, okay? We're getting to the meat and potatoes. We just honestly chilled on the couch. We had some wine. We were watching, you know, the ball drop, etc. He ends up getting belligerent because he took so many shots back and forth of Jaeger, which is disgusting. Jaeger tastes like black toothpaste. I mean, black licorice and toothpaste combined. Like, it's gross. So he took so many shots of that he got like so intoxicated. You guys already know from my past stories, when this man would get intoxicated, he would turn into like another entity. Like he wasn't Damien anymore, he was Patricia. Like he was just not himself. So we ended up getting through the night, had a pretty good time. It was just a chill night, and we end up going back to his house, and he ends up being like,
you really have a wandering eye. Like, I'm not ever bringing you around any of my cousins again.
And I said, huh? I said, what? Are you talking to me or you're talking to your inner demons? Because I don't know. Like, it's something, what's not clicking, Steven? Like, what's not clicking? So he's like, no. He basically tells me that I was looking at his cousin, that I was like eyeing him up and down and like trying to give him like seductive. And I'm just like, what? Like that never happened. So I was just like, you're bugging, like straight up, like you, like there's some, like you're bugging. But I just chopped it up to like, okay, maybe he's just being drunk and stupid. So next day I wake up and I confront him about it, and he's like, I said that? I don't even remember saying that, blah blah blah. And he's like, no, like just forget I said anything, like just forget that. I was like, okay. So that day I remember I woke up at his house, we had breakfast together, and then I went to go pick up Aubrey from my mother's. She had watched her for me for New Year's, and then we went home, and then we had plans that day to go see Dog's Way Home. And I will never forget this day as long as I shall live. During this time, Damien didn't have a car, and he damn well had money to get a car. He just didn't feel like buying one, so he would like use his dad's all the time. And it got annoying because like sometimes obviously his father had to use his car, so like I would be picking him up most of the time, you know, driving us to the places we needed to go. And like after a while, like I just got like, I'm just like, no, you need to get a car. Like you need to like find a way of transportation. Like this is not, I'm not doing this anymore. And he would always put gas in my car, and like he would pay for like wherever we were going. So I didn't mind that, but I'm just like it just gets like exhausting, you know? Like I want to like meet you at the bowling alley sometimes. I don't want to pick you up and go all the way. It's a waste of time, you know? So basically we got into a little bit of a tussle on the phone because we were going to go see A Dog's Way Home, and I had to do something that day at a certain amount of time. So I needed to like meet him there, see it, cool, maybe we'll get lunch afterwards, then I have to be on my way. And he was like, oh no, well like I would need you to come get me because my dad needs the car. And I'm like, that's an hour, like a half an hour there to go get him, all the way to the theater, all the way back to drop him off, all the way back home, and then to go where I need to go. And I was just like, that's not gonna work out for me, like I'm sorry. And then that's when like I kind of said to him, I was like, you really need to get like your own car so we can like meet places, you know? And I don't know what about that like set him off, but it set him off, and he was just like, what do you do for me in this relationship? You can't even come pick me up. Every time we go somewhere, all I do is pay. I'm always making the effort. I'm always doing this and that, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm like, okay, first of all, I always drive to you. Like, yes, he would drive when he had like the car. He would drive here. And he would like hang out here sometimes, but mostly it was me going over there, and I didn't mind that, honestly. I kind of would have rather been at his house than mine anyway, so I don't care. But like I drive to you all the time. I drive us to most of our places. Yeah, like you pay for things, and that's great. Like I think maybe in our relationship I paid for something like twice. Like he always paid, which was like cool. But like I contribute too. Like don't act like I don't. Maybe it's not like financially every time we go out somewhere, but like I help, you know, like I contribute, you know? And like anytime a man says to you like, what do you do for me, or what do you do in this relationship, that's just your key to go, because that means that he doesn't appreciate you and the role that you play in his life. And for some people, you could do like everything for them and they can still be like, you don't do shit for me. Like that stuff that Adrian used to say all the time. He'd be like, I do everything, you don't do anything, what do you do in this relationship, blah blah blah. That's like a manipulation tactic to get you to deflect basically the attention off of them and the point you're trying to get across to them, and bring it back to you and blame you, so then you can now basically take fault for their actions. It's a key thing with these men. And just go the other way. If a man ever says, what do you bring to this relationship, what do you do for me, blah blah blah, exit stage left and don't go back. I just get to a point where I'm like, you know what, I don't know what it was, I really don't know, but something like, you know what, I do know what it is. I'm a Pisces, so naturally I'm very empathetic and caring, and I give people not only second chances but third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, right? And I do that because I put up with a lot, okay? And I'm gonna take accountability for that. It's something that I'm working on as I'm growing. I put up with a lot, but when I get to the point where I'm done, like I've been disrespected, I've been talked to crazy, you know, I've been through just so much to the point where I feel physically, emotionally, and spiritually I can't take it anymore, or something's not right, like my gut's telling me to get out now. When I'm done, and I will leave and not ever look back. I can think about you every single day and you will never hear from me again. So yes, it may take me longer than others, but once I get to that point, I'm done. So I literally was like, we fight constantly. We try and we try and we try, and how many times do you try to make something work before you realize that it's meant to be broken? It's not meant to come together. The puzzle pieces aren't meant to forge together. We are toxic for each other. I'm not good for you, you're not good for me. We need to end this relationship, and we need to end it right here and now. I can't do this anymore. I'm sick of the fighting. It's draining me. It's taking me away from my goals. I can't do it. I'm done. We need to break up. This is it. We are done. He basically was like, you know what, whatever, like I'm never gonna talk to you again, don't talk to me, like if you're done then I'm done, like act like I don't exist, just said like crazy stuff, and then basically hung up on me. And so in my mind, I'm like, we're done. Like, we're broken up and that's it. So I start basically rebuilding my life and, you know, dissolving my life with him, and I start focusing on me and moving on. And everyone knows when you do that, they always come back. Y'all can say what you want about me with my story times, but all I have to say is this: I have never once had an ex that has either broken up with me or I broke up with them who hasn't tried to come back multiple times. Not once, not twice, but multiple times. That's all I'm saying. He had bought me a TV for Christmas, and this TV was huge. Like, couldn't even fit on my dresser. I'm looking over at my dresser at the time that it was on, and it was huge. So he's like, okay, I need to come pick up my TV, like a week later. And I was like, okay, come get it. So he comes over and he picks up the TV, but while he's picking up the TV, he's playing that song that's like, fuck what I said, it don't mean shit now. Fuck them, might as well throw them out. And it's like, fuck you, you hoe, I don't want you back. That song, like, was playing it on, and of course Aubrey wasn't here, but like, he was playing it on blast on his phone while he was taking the TV and unscrewing like the little handles at the bottom and putting it back into the box. Like, he was singing the song, he had it on blast. Like, he might as well have just freaking like took over the copyrights of that song and just recorded it. Like, he literally like had it on blast, and I'm just sitting downstairs and I'm like, you are a fool, you are a literal fool. So he takes the TV, he leaves, tells me he's never going to talk to me again, don't even think about, he's never going to come back, don't hold my breath, all this crazy stuff, right? So then he leaves. So then after that, I think because he, you know, saw me, he started doing his usual calling me a bunch of times on no caller ID, leaving me voicemails, can we just talk, can we just talk? I wouldn't answer him. And so one day I got a little saucy and I screenshotted, literally like one day it was like 23 to 30 missed calls. So I screenshotted it and I put it on Twitter. I said, somebody come get my ex. He won't leave me alone, or like he's crazy or something like that. And I put it on Twitter. I put it on there, and tell me why I'm at work. I'm working at a factory. I'm like, you know, just trying to make my money. I'm putting in the threads. I'm getting the garment ready to sew. And I get my phone blown up, and it is this Damien ripping me to shreds. He sent me a screenshot because he doesn't even have Twitter, so I don't even know how he found it, but he sent me a screenshot of my tweet of me calling him crazy and like all the missed calls. And by the way, it said no caller ID, like it didn't say his name. I wouldn't do that. He ripped me to shreds, talking about, how dare you, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to show up to your house and I'm going to take my mirror back. I'm going to take this back. What is wrong with you? Like, I'm done. Like, you're finished. Like, he literally was so angry at that. And so I had this vanity mirror. I'm gonna get a little emotional talking about this. No, I was kidding, but like to this day, this is the one story that pisses me off. So he knew how bad I wanted to like consistently start doing YouTube. So he was like, oh, well, for Christmas, you know, with the TV, I will also buy you a vanity mirror. And it was one of those like first impression, I don't know, like what's that company that sells the vanity mirrors? I don't even know. I'll put it on here. But like the big, huge, like $400, like huge vanity mirrors that have like the different settings and all that stuff. He bought it for me, and I remember I was just like so happy. I put it like all over like social media, like, oh my god, I have the best boyfriend ever, like all this stuff, and everybody was like, girl, you're so lucky. Like, I was so hyped about this mirror, and he knew I'm not materialistic, but this was the one thing I wanted. Like, I was saving up for it. It was on my vision board. Like, I wanted this mirror so bad. You could tell I'm so not over this. And he's like, I'm coming and I'm taking my mirror. You don't deserve it. And so I said, you know what? Okay. And if you guys watched my last video of me, my Ask Dakota, which is the video I literally posted right before this, I think it's called He Cheated What Now? I'm answering my subscribers' emails, giving them advice. On the last part of the video, I talk a little bit about this. So he was like, I'm coming to get my mirror. And he would do this all the time. Anytime we broke up, he'd be like, oh, well, you know that thing I bought for you? I need it back. Or you know this I bought for you? I need it back. He even tried to say he wanted my makeup palette back. I was like, bro, it's already used. And he was like, I'll give it to my cousin. Like, being petty, like the cousin that hated me. And I was like, no, fuck no, sorry, but that's mine. Because I went to New York, he bought me an Anastasia palette. Like, I'm gonna say, like, he spoiled me. Like, he spoiled me. But then when we'd fight, he'd want his stuff back. Like, Tell me you're a manipulator. That's tell me you're a manipulator. No hard feelings. We're cool now. Okay, so he's like, I want my mirror back. And I was like, you know what? Fine, because that's the last thing that ties me to you. Other than that, I gave you all your other stuff back, or the stuff that I have, like it's makeup and brushes. I'm not giving that back to you. That's gross. It's cross-contamination. It's contamination. Is that how you say it? I don't know. Scrolling forward, he said he's gonna come take my mirror, and I said, okay. I said, but you're not coming into my house. I'll bring it out to you. I'm not comfortable with you coming into my house. And he's like, because the mirror was huge, you guys, and my room was like all the way upstairs. He's like, I swear to God, if you walk down the stairs with that mirror and you drop it or it breaks, I'm suing you for damaged property. Like literally just like the craziest shit. And so I said, okay. I said, nope, I'll be fine. I'll be careful. I said, you know, I'm going to leave. I'm going to bring it out to your car. I said, you're not coming in my house, because I knew what was going to happen. He was going to come in. He was going to go upstairs and grab it. And then on the way down, he was going to be like, can we just get back together? I'm sorry. I didn't mean any of this. You can keep the mirror. I knew that shit was going to happen. So he's like, you better be there by 2:30, because I know that's the time you get home from work. And if you're not there by 2:31, like just going off on me. And I'm like, okay, leave me alone. I have work to do. So fine. I knew this was like the last tie I had to him, so I just wanted to get rid of it, you know? So I go home and he's already there, parked 2:30 like he said he would be. And it's funny because I actually got there like 2:32. I remember him being like, you're late. And I'm like, I don't care. So we got there. And the nerve he has, he was like 2 hours late for our first date, so they make it make sense. We got there, I said, you're not coming in. He's like, no, because I know you're going to drop it, blah, blah, blah. I said, you know what, fine. I said, go upstairs and go get it yourself and then get out of my house. So he goes upstairs and he grabs it. And before he brings it downstairs, he comes down empty-handed. And he's like, you can keep the mirror. I'm sorry. I don't know what's wrong with me. You're the only girl that I'm like this with. You just make me crazy. I don't understand. I've never been like this with any other girl before. Only you've made me this crazy. Like, all this stuff. And I was like, no, you wanted the mirror so bad. You made it a point to make my whole day about this mirror. For my whole day to revolve around this mirror. Go upstairs and go get it and then get out. And so we're like fighting there for like 15 minutes, and finally he's like, fine, I'm gonna get it and leave. And I'm like, thank you. It's what I've been asking you to do this whole time. He goes upstairs and he grabs the mirror and he walks downstairs, and he was like, this isn't your last chance. Like, after this, I'm not gonna ask you again. Like, can we just work things out? And I said, take the mirror. That's my last tie to you. So take it and get the fuck out of my house and never talk to me again. I want nothing to do with you. Bye. And so he does. He leaves and he goes, and I was like, that's my last tie. He has no excuse to text me, no excuse to talk to me, nothing. And I remember, and like we're like I said, like we're like okay now, so I'm not gonna like get too much into it. But I remember that day I told myself, how have I lost myself so much to the point where I've allowed somebody to come into my life who treats me this way, and I associate that with love. I associate that with, oh, it's okay, we can get through it. Or I associate that with a healthy relationship, when I know damn well it's not. How do I have such little self-worth and self-esteem that I think I'm deserving of this? Because like I said in my last video, I hate the whole like you attract who you are type thing. No. Because when you're a boss ass bitch, you attract everybody, okay? It's like you allow in the people that associate with how you feel about yourself. So if you have low self-esteem, low self-worth, you're vibrating at a low level, that's who you're gonna let in. When you're vibrating up here, your self-worth and your self-love is elevated. You're not going to let somebody like that in, because you know, like, okay, this person can't give me what I need. They're not here with me. They're vibrating way lower. Like, it's not going to be a good match. So it's not about what you attract. You're always going to attract people of high quality, low quality, anything. It's the human experience. It's about who you allow in. You are who you allow in, and who you allow in is dependent on how you feel about yourself. I said, I'm going to take the next year and be completely single. I'm not going to touch anybody, kiss anybody, go on any dates. I'm not going to have sex, nothing. I'm going to stay to myself and work on my issues to make sure I never allow somebody like this in again. And I will say, yeah, I've only had 2 relationships after that. The first one wasn't like a bad relationship. We just didn't work out. And he will never get a story time because he was not a bad guy. We didn't work, okay? And then my most recent one, I wouldn't say that he's like a terrible person. I just think that he has a lot to work on internally so he doesn't bleed on people who didn't cut him. That's what happens sometimes. But like anyone that I've let in after I did that year of celibacy and work has always been like a little bit better, okay? I'm like a little bit better. It's like, okay, like I'm getting there, you know what I mean? It's like you got to get to level 3 before you get to level 5. And on level 3, you learn a lesson. You're like, okay, the next person I let in now, I'm not going to be like this. And then you move up and up. Aubrey wanted to join. Say hi. Anyway, and the more that you up your self-love and self-worth and self-esteem and work on you and truly like love yourself, okay? That will allow you to have discernment of who's worthy of your time, who's worthy of coming into your life, and who's not. So it's really about that. It's not you attract who you are. Allow in how you feel about yourself. The person that you're with is a reflection of how you feel about yourself. So if you're with somebody who's treating you bad, or you know you deserve better, you need to look at, instead of trying to fix them and mold and shape them into your perfect person and the potential of who they can become, look at yourself and think, why do I feel so low about myself to the point where I'm allowing this person to treat me this way? Basically, to wrap this up, the last time that I saw him, the last couple times I saw him. So I was taking my trash outside, and like, of course, like the phone calls and texts like didn't stop. Like it was constant voicemails, calls, texts, coworkers like texting me saying, please talk to Damien. I just completely ignored it and blocked it out of my life, and I just decided I was going to completely move on. So basically, I was taking my trash out one day and I hear, hey, and I turn around and it's him, and he's in his car and he's like driving slowly, and he's like, can you get in? Can we please talk? Blah, blah, blah. Like, please talk to me. And I didn't even look at him, you guys. I took my trash out and I walked back inside, and as I was like walking to the trash, he was like next to me with his car, like talking to me, and I just completely went inside, okay? Got a blocked call, didn't answer it. And this was like weeks after I broke up with him, okay? And then the last time I saw him was the creepiest moment of my life. So I was coming home and I had Aubrey, and I was getting her out of the car and I was grabbing her things, her backpack and things like that. I want to say it was like 4 o'clock, maybe 5. And I was about to go inside and I hear,
hey Dakota.
And I turn around and I see him, and he's in his work truck, and I'm not going to say the name, but he's in a truck and it's his work truck, and he's like organizing it. And I just was like, because first of all, he didn't have that job when we were together. So I was like, first of all, where'd you get that truck from? Why are you driving it? Is this where you work now? And second of all, why are you on my street? Because I know that nobody on my street gets services from that facility for you to be dropping off items. Like, just trust me. And I was like, oh my God. And so I take Aubrey, I like rush her inside. We go to the back entrance. I lock all the doors. I pull down all of the blinds, and then I get a knock on the door, and I don't answer, and I tell Aubrey just to go in her room, and I get a knock like 5 more times, and I just don't answer. And then I get a text from a fake number, and it's like, look on your porch. And I open the door, and it's like a bag of Reese's. If you guys don't know me, Reese's are like my favorite candy on the whole entire planet. I worship them. I love them so much. Like, I literally can eat my weight in Reese's peanut butter cups. Not Reese's Pieces, those are gross, but the peanut butter cups, I'm obsessed. And he left those for me, and I'm just like I just don't understand. If I unblock his number, and I text him, and I'm like, if you ever show up to my house again, drive by, show up, anything, I will put a restraining order on you, and I will call the police, and I have more than enough evidence to back it up. And he had the nerve to tell me, I was just coming over like you told me to. And I was like, what are you talking about? He sends me a screenshot from like 2.5 weeks ago when we were still together, telling him to come over. It is 2.5 weeks, almost a month later. What are you talking about? I think he was just using that for like reverse psychology, but that was like literally the last time I saw him, and haven't seen him since. Like I said, I did post that story time, and then he ended up texting me, and he was like, I knew that he had a new number. He was like, I knew I was next, like blah, blah, blah. It was crazy, and like I apologized, like I'm sorry. So we laughed and we reminisced about it, and like every now and then like we'll just like ask each other how we're doing. Story and continuation about one of my crazy exes. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you like what you saw today, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and turn your post notifications by clicking the bell icon in the corner. Don't forget to follow me on all my socials, my TikTok, my Twitter, my Instagram, my Snapchat, which will be linked right here. Also, don't forget to follow me on my podcast, Elevate Entirely. New episodes go up every Monday, and that will be right here. Please don't forget to check out Freya. They are an amazing pad company that I mentioned in the beginning, and they are, absolutely love their products. They're chemical free, delivered to your doorstep, leak free, and no harsh ingredients like these other pads have in stores. So if you guys really want to check that out, I have a link in my bio as well as a discount code for you guys, which will also be listed on the screen and in the bio, that you can use to get a percentage off of your order. And thank you so much, Freya, for considering me.
I can't wait to see you guys on my guest day.
Participate with you guys. I really do appreciate it, and thank you guys for always supporting me, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.